George Russell and Kimi Antonelli are clearly a very strong partnership. Toto Wolff must be delighted with the drivers he's got. I don't know what the future of that team is, and if there was an option for this Max Verstappen talk, which will inevitably get as silly season really rolls in, it would be fantastic to see him against either George, a somewhat long-term rival, or Kimi Antonelli, who is the next logical Max Verstappen in terms of generational talent. Would love to see it. But the thing I want to actually talk about is in the 2026 drivers that we've got, who do we think are the best combination? If we went into a spec series, Ben, what drivers would you imagine could take the constructors or the spec constructors championship at this point? Because there are some really powerful driver combinations. What are your thoughts on the top five?
I think I can't look past the McLaren partnership. I think that's harmonious, and it's it works. And the Ferrari partnership in terms of experience and two blisteringly quick drivers that if everyone was in the same equipment, I think that those two would be working better together than any others, just because of their experience and driving style and everything else. I just think that for me, those two teams are the one that look the strongest. And that's not being disrespectful to Mercedes. I just think that this partnership's still very new and Antonelli's still very green. So that's the only reason I'm not including in that bracket. I think Bull...
Just to go on the numbering, the ordering, I have to agree. And I also think that you've got Kim Antonelli and George Russell very clearly a great partnership possibility, but that potential we still don't really know, whereas clearly the potential in McLaren has been demonstrated to the point of they've got a championship and Norris has the Drivers' Championship, 2 championships actually, I should clarify. And I don't know though if I would say in all equal machinery, if Ferrari pulled their finger out, if they would beat a Leclerc-Hamilton partnership, because I'm leaning, if we're going to go onto an official F1 paddock update, let's go for that, an official F1 paddock update, power rankings of who are the top teams in terms of driver partnerships, I just can't look past a Leclerc-Hamilton partnership. I mean, look, Hamilton is an argument you can have. Is he past it? Is he not? I don't think he is. I think he's maybe was sharper at some point, but if he has the right car underneath him, he's still as good as you can get. But Hamilton and Leclerc, let's take Ferrari out of it. In your driver, in your team, in the two cars you'd have, that at the moment in these combinations, for me, has to be number one. But do you think McLaren would be taking number one?
I think McLaren would probably take number one, but it would be close. I think if you look at on paper, you've got the most successful Formula One driver in Hamilton and arguably the quickest qualifier in Leclerc in one team. But then you've got two drivers at McLaren who are both at this similar level, if you know what I mean. I just think that it's very close. I'm thinking of those FIFA rankings, in my head, the player rankings. And I just think that if you totaled up, actually, I don't know. Too tough.
Star ranking, isn't it? It's like what's the star power? What's your total on this? I see. For me, and this might just be a question of longevity. I can't think that Piastri or Norris, I could put them ahead of a Hamilton and Leclerc at this point. But
possibly.
Give it another 5 years,
and that may be because we're old and it's nostalgia.
Speak for yourself. So, just cover my grey hairs.
Look. I think there's a number of strong partnerships throughout the grid. I think the Williams one is great. I totally understand what they've done there. I think.
I want to come on to that. Do we want to lock in though? Ferrari as our number one for the moment. Like this is a bit of fun. No one's going to.
You've already decided that it's number one. So let's go with that, and then McLaren a close second.
Okay. I think I can get on board with that. And then the third place is where it gets difficult. I think just you were about to talk about Williams, and I think that is a very, very good one. So please explain why James Vowles.
Williams, I think it was a smart move to get both those drivers in the team to help drive the progress. And I know that they've been a bit slow off the mark this year, but they are making progress. And I think in terms of two drivers very similarly matched in ability and philosophy, I think that's crucial. And I think that is a very strong driver pairing. So they would be my number 3
ahead of Mercedes. The Red Bull rejects over at Williams.
Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah, okay. Well, let's have Mercedes at 3, Williams at 4. Who's 5?
That's really difficult. I mean, Max Verstappen is clearly picking up a lot of slack at Red Bull, and not to have Max Verstappen, that's one of the best things to actually argue on this is, do you want two solid drivers and then you have something like Williams, or do you want the wild card Max Verstappen, who's clearly the level above, with a driver who's got potential but probably isn't at the level we're talking about with Hadjar? Looking for the rest of it, because I've seen for a long time grow as a driver, and I think Nico Hulkenberg's always been very underrated. Like, I don't think that's a really bad shout. But then on the other side, like the two number twos, Perez and Bottas, looks like a clear, like, experienced. These are the drivers you'd want if you started a team, which is exactly what Cadillac have done.
I think we need to rethink this game and have some special. We probably need an F1 style rulebook of about 25 pages. But I think if we're looking at it from the best for the team's perspective, so take the individual driver out of it, in terms of low friction teammates that get on and help drive that team forward, i.e. if you were the team boss and you were trying to make progress with your team, who would you pick? Fantasy F1, I suppose.
Yeah.
Then I would probably go for that low friction approach with two drivers that are of similar ability, or if you're a younger team, maybe go for the experienced driver and the younger one. I'm just thinking there, like Haas, for instance, Ollie Behrman and Ocon is a very good partnership. And again, one which is sort of underrated, but under the radar. It's not underrated, it's under the radar, and it's delivered quite a lot of success, I think, the way that those two work together. So, and obviously low friction being a key aspect there. So, yeah, really tricky.
Fun one, isn't it? As a thought exercise, this is as good as you get. Because you also think on the low friction side, how does that friction go when there's a championship on the line? Like we saw with McLaren, is actually never actually ignited to the point of annoyance for a lot of people who wanted to see a big explosion. Like, I don't think Perez versus Bottas, if there was a championship on the line, would get overly explosive. Maybe the Mexican fans might get very animated, but I don't think the two drivers would be. I think they're just past that point in their careers. Whereas Ocon and Behrman, I could imagine that getting very feisty if there was a championship on the line. So I would lean personally to Perez and Bottas taking that P5 slot. What about you?
I would go the opposite. I would have Ocon. I've been really impressed with Ocon and Behrman's partnership at Haas, and listening to Haas and the way that they are so complimentary about both drivers. And I think that is the secret behind the team's success. The fact that they've had that partnership since Gunter's gone and Komatsu's, pulled everyone together. It's kind of knuckled down, the real work started, and I feel like that team is really making good progress.
Okay, well, I think what I'd be happy to say at this point, Ben, maybe you'd agree that we know from our conversations, maybe me leaning a little bit on the scales, that we've got Ferrari or Leclerc and Hamilton as our number 1, Norris and Piastri as our number 2. Then we're going to Antonelli and Russell, number 3. I think we're pretty locked in on those. And then who do we go for our number 4 then? I've already...
I think we said Williams, didn't we?
Albon and Sainz, yeah. I think that's that. I'm all very happy that top 4. And then we diverge into, is it Perez and Bottas or is it Ocon and Behrman?
Listen, Jim, I think the only way we can do this is get people to let us know what they think, and then we can run through the list and do a definitive on who's who. Where does everyone sit?
I agree. Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to go and give us a full 11-team rundown, please let us know, because it gets a lot more tricky when you go into those other teams that we haven't mentioned, with Lawson and Lindblad, for example, Colapinto, Gasly, Alonso, Stroll. How do you order those? Please, let us know below. I'd love to see your rankings, and we'll let you know what we think.